The 1999 rodeo season is quickly coming to a close. The final rodeo of the regular season is just days away. For some, like Pete Hawkins, reservations for Las Vegas have already been secured. For others, their NFR dreams hang in the balance. Will there be new reasons to celebrate, or will the cheers of a sold-out Thomas & Mack Center become a faint memory? If you're on the bubble or just out of the top 15 like veteran Larry Sandvik, you know you have to make it happen if you're going to make it to the National Finals Rodeo. Welcome to the original Coors Sunday Night Rodeo. Jeff Metters along with Butch Knowles. We're at the heart of Texas Coliseum in Waco, Texas. There are just a few big paychecks remaining in the 1999 regular season, and this is one of them. The stock contractor here in Waco, Butler Brothers and Servey, Mike Servey. And we have an interesting group of cowboys here with guys like five-time saddle bronc riding world champion Dan Mortensen. Here just adding to the pot. We have other cowboys who are somewhat desperate in their quest to make it into the top 15 so they can make it to the National Finals Rodeo.
Yeah, as we just saw, Davey Shields Jr. right there, a bareback rider. He is on the bubble. It's a very important week for him.
It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a veteran. Steve Duhon on the bubble, and Steve, of course, is a three-time world champion steer wrestler. We're going to start things out in bareback riding. First up, Lan Langeness. He lives in Morgan, Utah. Skoll's Red Cloud is the draw.
Well, Lan's on his way to his first National Finals Rodeo. Jeff, here's a guy now, in my opinion, he should have been there 5 or 6 times by now. He rides so well. He's been close. He's been in the top 20 in the world 2 or 3 times. This year, though, he's had a super year, and right here is why. Great ride.
Yeah, he's 28 years old, 11th in the world standings, and really 11th this point in time in the season. You probably can relax just a little bit.
You can. The real dogfight seems to be down there around 13th, 14th, 15th, all the way down to 20th. Each event is a little different, but if you're 11th, you're right in the middle of the pack. But it's important, too, to make rides like this. You want some momentum as you go into the national finals. Rides like this, all this does is make you believe in yourself. Once you get there, you can win a ton of money.
Boy, and that horse was not easy. And the score for Lan, 85. Next up, Pete Hawkins. He's #1 in the world, and he kind of likes that idea.
I don't feel any more pressure than I ever have, you know, up there at the finals. Anything can happen, and for leading it all through the year, you know, I kind of feel more like I earned it, you know, and I don't want them to take it away from me. You know, I got that feeling instead of like someone's going to catch me. It's like, you know, I don't want you taking this, and I think that's going to help me in the long run.
Now, Pete's pretty confident. 10th in the world is the best that he's ever finished, but he heads to this trip to the NFR with a target on his back.
Well, he does. You know, and once you get there, it's like Pete said, you either ride aggressive or you try to maintain the lead and ride fearful. I think he's going there with the right idea. He's going there to win first. Of course, he'd like to win first here, but his dancing partner was a little rank. That was aces and eights. That is one juicy bareback horse. You see Pete right there tip his hat to him. That's because he knows he just got on a rank horse.
Here's a Texas bareback rider, Chris Robles.
Well, as you can see right there, Chris needs 87 points now to take the lead away from Lan Langeness. The horse he has too high. This little horse should come around in the circle right there to the left. Good ride, good control. The guys like that, especially off a fence like that. It's tough when a horse makes a tight turn off a fence to keep that rhythm. He did a good job.
He's 26 years old, playing the role of a spoiler here, not in the top 50. He's just chasing the day money that these guys need so desperately if they're on the bubble.
Well, you know, and that's a good point, Jeff. If you're on the bubble and you're trying to get to the national finals, guys like this, you don't want to see them at the rodeo, because if they beat you, of course, they take some of the money away from you. It doesn't matter, though, to Chris. 80 points, he'll take that score.
Lan Langeness still has the lead. Here is Larry Sandvik. Casey, Wyoming, skiing accident, hurt his knee. He missed most of the year. Started rodeoing this summer and really has made a valiant effort to get into the top 15.
You know, he really has only rodeoed half the season. In fact, no one really expected Larry anywhere near the top 15 come this time of year. No one expected it, of course, but Larry Sandvik himself. He's had a super comeback. Has a good chance to get to the national finals, but he didn't do very well right there.
21st in the world is where he sits today. And Skoll's Great Plains, pretty ranked trip there.
Well, Larry kind of had some problems with his spurring lick through that ride. You know, he's only $5,500 out of the top 15 right now, Jeff. Of course, as we all know, only the top 15 get to go on to Las Vegas. It's going to be quite a finish for Sandvik.
Right now, Landland Jeunesse has the lead in the bareback riding. Still to come, Cowboys like Denny McClanahan and Rocky Stiegel will return to Waco in just a moment. ESPN's presentation of the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo from Waco, Texas is brought to you by Original Coors, brewed a mile high. By Wrangler, the only jeans and shirts endorsed by the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. By Dodge, do not follow, do not conform, be different. And by Justin Boots, standard of the West since 1879. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Metters. We're just a couple of weeks away from the season finale of Rodeo's regular season in San Francisco, but first we have some business to settle here in the heart of Texas. Tonight we're going to see Cowboys who are on opposite sides of the fence. On the good side, you've got guys like Pete Hawkins, who's the #1 ranked bareback rider in the world, and Gregory Potter, the top ranked bull rider. Those guys, along with Cowboys like Dan Mortensen, the saddle bronc rider, and team ropers Charles Pogue and Britt Buckus, are all going to spend the last couple of weeks of the regular season just trying to solidify their shot at a 1999 World Championship. On the other side, you have Cowboys who are just trying to creep into the top 15. For their story, let's go to Butch Knowles.
Well, on that other side of the coin happens to be the pressure cooker side. For guys like calf roper Tony Rihanna, bareback rider Davey Shields Jr., and saddle bronc rider Brett Franks, well, a win here at Waco could be all it takes to get them to this year's National Finals Rodeo and a chance to compete for over $4 million in prize money. Can these guys handle it with their feet held to the fire? Well, with just a few short weeks left in this year's rodeo season, that $4 million fire is getting mighty hot.
Landland Jeunesse, after an 85, has the lead here in the final round at Waco. Now to Denny McClanahan on What a Jag.
Well, there's some big guns left, Jeff, and Denny happens to be one of them. 7 trips to the national finals under his hat already. On his way to another one this year. Quite a bareback rider.
Yeah, it was 6th in the world in 1998 when it was all said and done. 7th in the world now. 1999 World Championship really is within his reach.
Yeah, it is. You know, Pete Hawkins, any of these guys will tell you, you just get to the national finals and you have a chance to win a world title. It's happened before, and it'll happen again, and guys like McClanahan know it. Of course, if you go in the lead, you have a little advantage, but if you're just in the pack, you go down there and have a $100,000 week, anything can happen.
Needs at least 73 to take the lead. McClanahan walking away with 78, so we have a new leader. Next up, Rocky Stiegel, 16th in the world. Kind of an odd place for this veteran. Earlier, I had a chance to ask Rocky if the bubble makes him nervous.
No, I mean, if I was my first time I was going to make it, I'd really be nervous. But, you know, I've been there before. Like I always say, you work all year to get there, and then they beat the heck out of you for 10 days. So, you know, I mean, it's you know, I'm a little nervous. Of course, you work hard all year, and then you want to get there and ride at the big money. But, no, I'm just riding and relaxed, and if it happens, it does. If it doesn't, you know, there's always next year.
4 NFRs to his credit, finished #9 in 1998. And as he mentioned there, he hasn't had the best of luck injury-wise once he's made it to the NFR.
No, he hasn't, but I know Rocky doesn't want to be sitting at home in Clovis, California when the National Finals Rodeo is going on. You go down there with a chance to win $15,000+ every time you nod your head. Guys like Rocky Stiegel need to be there. He's a great bareback rider.
He is 37 years old, trying to qualify for National Finals #5. Tall order today, needed to be at least 94 to take the lead away from Denny McClanahan. That would probably rank up there with the best bareback rides I'd ever seen if he could reach it.
Yeah, well, you know, and Rocky tried to reach it. Look at this ride. Look at the control, the extension of the legs, clear to the rigging, back in front of the horse. That was an absolute perfect bareback ride. Maybe the horse was a hair weak, but that was a very good ride.
80 points the score for Rocky Stiegel. Next up, Canadian Davey Shields Jr. He's one of the guys that's trying to leave Rocky at home. Davey right now is 18th in the world. Needs to make some money.
You know, Davey's had a super year. Talk about a guy that's got hot late in the season. In July, the 4th of July, he had about $11,000 won, and he has just came unglued through August, September, now October. Very good bareback rider.
Competed at the college national finals this summer. We've seen him ride north of the border too. He's really tough in Canada.
Yeah, Davey's a Canadian cowboy. He's been a Canadian champion, on his way to the Canadian finals. Great style, great form. Another guy fighting for that bottom hole.
Had a chance, needed 86 to take the lead in the average. Davey gets 81 points. Final cowboy now, Jared Laverne, trying to catch Denny McClanahan.
Well, Jared's been in the top 25 in the bareback riding for the last couple of years. I don't think he has a chance to get to this year's finals, but like Rocky said, you just go home and get ready for next year. I'm sure as well as this young man rides, he'll be there before he's done.
28 years old, no NFRs to his credit. Won it in 83, but he comes away with 78, so that means the little cowboy from Canadian Texas is going to win the title here in Waco. Denny McClanahan, 240 points on 2. Laverne and Shields tie for second. This is a big win for McClanahan.
I just outdrew everybody here by a mile. Any one of these guys could have had the same horses I had here and they'd be walking away the champion, but I had 3 NFR horses, so it's pretty hard to go wrong. I just knew I had to make some good rides and I would should come out at the top part of the leaderboard.
Crown Royal World Standings in bareback riding, Pete Hawkins, number 1, 86,000. And there you see Larry Sandvik, 20th in the world. That's still just a few days left to creep into the top 15. Now the big guys are loosening up. We'll come right back with steer wrestling. Welcome back to the original Coors Sunday Night Rodeo. The Texas Rangers Museum is at home here in Waco, Texas. Waco, by the way, about an hour and a half south of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We're ready for steer wrestling. Chad Hagan has the lead 7 and 8 on 2 coming in. Followed closely by former calf roping world champion Herbert Terrio there in the number 3 spot. Here's Vince Walker. He lives in Oakdale, California. It's a big go-round for him. He is 16th in the world.
Yeah, just $1,000 out of the top 15, Jeff. This is a huge go-around. You see him get down, handles the steer quick. Now he looks back, makes sure he's clean at the barrier with that smile on his face, says, I did it. Boy, nice run right here. This steer sets right there, kind of waits for him. And he doesn't handle real quick. Vince actually muscles him right over there right quick. Nice run.
29-year-old trying to qualify for his first national finals. Well, it's kind of odd to see this next guy battling with the guys on the bubble. Steve Duhon, 3-time world champion, 18th in the world right now.
Well, if you're trying to get into the top 15, you don't like guys like Steve Duhon behind you because he knows what he's doing. He's a veteran, 3-time world champion, 2-time NFR average champion. This guy knows how to win, and he will come and get you.
4-1, the time for Steve Duhon.
You know, Steve's about $5,000 out of the top 15, so another guy right in the mess.
Duhon's 36 years old. Here's Justin Newlish. He's just 21.
Well, Justin's here just trying to get as much money as he can out of Waco. That steer sets just like Vince Walker's steer. You know, a steer like this, the tricky part is catching him. You got to really make a big move, get in the hole, and be ready. That inside horn almost slipped by him, but he handled it. Nice run.
Now, 4-1 is going to be good enough to give Newlish the lead in the average for the moment. Scott Quick gets ready, backs into the box. Quick lives in Hydro, Oklahoma. 31 years old, not a contender for this year's national finals.
Well, he may not be a contender, but he wants to win first. Now, these steers of Mike Survey's, they are all so even that anyone can be quick once they get their hands on them. Nice run, 3 and 8.
So we have a new leader in the average. 3 cowboys remaining. The first, Herbert Terrio. You might remember Herbert last year at the national finals. Qualified in 2 events and really pushed Ty Murray to the 10th round in terms of the all-around world championship.
You know, I was talking to Herbert before the rodeo, and I said, Herbert, do you still have a chance in the steer wrestling? He's about $8,000 out of the top 15. He said, if I can get something done here at Waco, I've got a chance. If he gets there in 2 events, he's got a great chance to win the all-around title of the world. Another big week for Herbert.
Safely in calf roping where he is 10th in the world. And that run of 3-9 now ties him for the lead in the average. Here's Sam Koenig now, lives in Cross Plains, Texas. 40 years old, 29th in the world, so he's had a pretty good year. He's just chasing the money here in Waco.
Well, he was 4-1 and 3-9 in his first 2 steers to qualify him for the finals here. He'll take it. 4-2.
4-2. 4-1 would have given him the lead, so now we have a log jam at the top. 3 Cowboys tied for the lead in the average. And we're down to the last Cowboy. He can break the tie. Chad Hagan, Leesville, Louisiana. Currently number 7 in the world. Chad's heading back now to his 2nd national finals.
Well, 2 years ago, Chad went to his first NFR. He was in college at that time. He went back, finished his degree. Wasn't even in the top 100 last year. Now what is he? 7th in the world standings and the winner of Waco. Now he had a little time to work with. He needed to be 4-3, but this steer, this is a good steer. He just made sure he didn't break the barrier, handled him quick. Nice run for Chad.
3-8, get some congratulations there from Herbert Theriault and company. So after 2 rounds in the finals, Chad Hagan will leave here as the winner. Let's take a look at the final results. 11-6 on 3, a 3-way tie for 2nd, but Hagan took care of that. He's been under the weather all day, but it didn't show tonight.
It's pretty hard, you know, 'cause I've been throwing up all day and just been in the bed. Got up about 6:30, tried to start moving around, and I really wasn't as motivated tonight as I'd like to be, or, you know, I would have been if I'd have been feeling good, but it all worked out. So.
Well, it didn't show. Crown Royal World Standings, Lee Graves still holding on to the top spot. Herbert Theriault now 19th in the world. Coming up in the bronc riding, 5-time world champion Dan Mortensen. The original Coors Sunday Night Rodeo will continue after this. Welcome back to the original Coors Sunday Night Rodeo. Jeff Metters along with Butch Knowles. At the top of the show, we talked about Cowboys who are on opposite sides of the fence. That's very apparent in saddle bronc riding. On one hand, you have Dan Mortensen. He's not only has the national finals wrapped up, he's in a great position to win his 6th world championship in 7 years. And then there's Brett Franks. He's got to make some things happen if he's going to make it to Las Vegas.
Well, when you look down through the list of bronc riders out there tonight, half the field have NFR experience. So if you're a guy trying to make his first NFR or just trying to slip in there, there's some real experienced guys you're going to have to beat.
Total prize money here in Waco, some $170,000, and you can see there the 3 Cowboys split the first go-around. Starting us off, Dean Schlattman, kind of a quiet cowboy from Basin, Wyoming.
Well, it appears that Dean is on his way to his first national finals rodeo. You know, back about June 30th, he was 2nd in the world standings. Right now, he's 13th in the world, but it looks like he's fairly safe and on his way to the finals. And let's hope he gets things figured out once he gets there. His old Big Sky just kind of walked him out of there. No score for Schlattman.
Now as he walks off, JT Hitch gets set. JT's from Indiana. Skulls, Fire, and Lace is the bronc that he's matched up with this evening.
Well, JT's a guy that's trying to get there also. He's about $4,000 out of the top 15, so he needs to really put a ride together, and he's making a nice one. Skulls, Fire, and Lace makes that nice little circle. JT Hitch, boy, he makes it look easy.
Won the Dodge National Circuit Finals Championship in saddle bronc riding 2 years ago, back in 1998. Sure he'd love to follow that up with his first trip to the national finals. We'll take one more look.
Well, this is the kind of horse, if you're a saddle bronc rider, you'd get on this horse every day just for fun. Nice little circle, jumps, kicks. JT just handles that rein good, reaches up there, sets his feet. That was pretty.
Well, his uncle is one of the best bronc riders of all time, Casey Tibbs. 82 the score for Hitch. Well, so much attention this year has been focused on Rod Hay, who's #1 in the world, and of course Dan Mortensen, who's won 5 of the last 6 world championships. Watch out though for Billy Edbauer. Edbauer just quietly having a very good year. He's going to Las Vegas in great shape.
Yeah, he's climbed up the ladder. Right now he's currently 3rd in the world standings, and he has been riding so well, especially the last month and a half. Billy feels good. He says he's healthier than he's ever been. You're right, Jeff. Watch out for Billy Edbauer.
Knows how to do it. He won the world in 1992 and 1996, and he held the PRCA's single event earnings record for quite a while. It was shattered last year, but Billy's a cowboy that is prone to have big NFRs, and when he does, he usually leaves there as a world champion.
You know, this was an impressive ride. Boot Scoot and Boogie kind of took a while to get going. Billy very aggressive. And then at the fence, that horse kind of whirled off the fence. Billy held his feet right in the front end. Great job.
Next up, Brett Franks. He's on the bubble, 16th in the world. He knows how important it is to make it to the national finals because of the money.
It's unreal, the rodeo there. There's getting to be more and more money every year, and it's kind of what's going to make a living for us. You know, if a guy doesn't make the NFR, it's start on the next year already and try to make it again, because that's what's going to make a living for you.
All I know is firsthand about the riches. He really cashed in last year. Finished the year with 116,000 and number 3 in the world.
Well, the horse he has is Copenhagen Hilda Blue. This horse has been to the national finals about 9 or 10 trips. Good bronc. Brett just kind of getting under there. You know, I was going to say this horse is getting a little age on her, though, and I think it appeared to show a little bit in this ride. She was good, but, boy, when you're trying to beat horses like Fire and Lace and some of those others, I think she was just a little off her game tonight.
Billy Ettbauer leading the average. He needed at least 84 to catch him. 75 the score for Brett Franks. He lives in Goodwell, Oklahoma. Ryan Mapston lives up in Geyser, Montana. Mapston has qualified for the last 3 national finals. He's number 6 in the world. Here's a cowboy that could win it all, too.
Well, if you notice, Land Lajeunesse was working a rope on that horse's neck. All he was trying to do is just make her stand there with her head up. Boy, and I'll tell you, Mapston, what a nice bronc ride that was. This horse jumped, kicked, got it on right there. Very good bronc ride.
His best finish ever, number 2 in the world. Great chance of winning that first world championship, though, this year.
You know, the toughest part some guys say about a horse like this is drawing him, but you still have to do your part. In other words, they mean that she's so good to ride that everybody should make this good ride. Scholes Easy Street, though, jumped and kicked, just absolutely perfect, but look how aggressive Ryan was. The whole way across, his feet were set way before the horse hit the ground. Great score, 83 points.
Now, the magic number was 84, but 83 is good enough. Actually, that moves him into a tie with Billy Ettbauer. 2 cowboys remaining. The first, Kenny Black. He's matched up with Scholes' little sister.
Well, Kenny is a guy, he hasn't been in the national finals yet, but he's the type of guy, if he gets off to a good start, I'm sure he'll be there. And I think, much like Ryan Mapston, once he goes once, I think he's the kind of guy that can go 4 or 5 times. He's a very good saddle bronc rider.
Won Caldwell on ESPN earlier this year. 84 is what he needs to bump Mapston and Ettbauer to number 2 in the average. We'll see what happens.
Well, good look at the mark out right there. Boy, he just got tapped off just perfect. Now watch him as he comes right at you. The whole idea, if you're judging, you watch how high he sets his feet in the front end of that horse. The higher he sets them, the more points you give him. Nice bronc ride, though.
Now 78 the score for Kenny Black. Final cowboy, the best in the business right now, Dan Mortensen. He has dominated the decade of the 90s, winning 5 of the last 6 saddle bronc riding world championships, and throw in an all-around world championship in there as well.
Well, Dan's about $10,000 out of the lead for the world right now. Now, we talk about saddle broncs that you lay awake at night and dream about. Well, this is the kind you don't want. This horse is real quick, real fast. All you can do is just tuck your chin and be aggressive. Not the kind you want in the finals like this.
8 trips to the national finals, $1.23 million in earnings right now. And Dan Mortensen, number 2 in the world, 72, not going to cut it for him, though, tonight. He walks away just a little bit disappointed, but 2 cowboys are happy as Ryan Mapston and Billy Ettbauer split the win, both with 165 on 2. Kenny Black finished in 3rd place.
I got on Easy Street today. It's really a good mare that I've seen go a lot of times, and I've never been on her before, but I've always wanted to, and so I got on her colt out of her in the first round called Backstreet, and he was a really good horse too, and I was tickled to death to have Easy Street today, and it worked out good for me.
In the Crown Royal World Standings, we talked about the race between Rod Hay and Dan Mortensen, and so there you see Billy Ettbauer not too far behind. White knuckle time for Brett Franks, 16th in the world. Still to come, calf roping. We'll be right back on the original Coors Sunday Night Rodeo. Waco is home to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, and as you can imagine, there are a lot of great athletes in there. Cowboy world well represented by former world champion calf roper Toots Mansfield. Our next stop on the Wrangler World of Rodeo, the season finale in San Francisco. What a pressure-packed rodeo that is. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. We're ready for calf roping. Ricky Hyde has the lead, 18-3 on 2. Tony Reyna, one of those Cowboys on the bubble. He'll need a big paycheck this afternoon, but we start with Clay Cherney, right now 13th in the world standings.
Yeah, it appears that Cherney now is pretty well on his way to the national finals, but he wants to keep going right here. Starting a good run, gets to that calf. Now he just smooths it out on the ground. Great way to start it out.
65th in the world in 1998. He's really stepped up his game in 1999. 9-1 for the moment, gives him the lead in the average. Cherney lives in Eagle Lake, Texas. Now we move to a Cowboy from Weatherford, Oklahoma, Ty Hayes, the national high school calf roping champion in 1994. Right now, number 5 in the world, making plans for his first national finals.
Well, now he had a calf that ran pretty hard, and he ran and broke left, so that means his horse had to move over there. When they break left on you like that, the calf kind of disappears behind your horse's head. He just tracked up there, then really hustled on the ground. Nice run. Oh, well, I said he hustled on the ground. He took 1 1/2 hitch and ends up with a no time.
So for the moment, Clay Cherney holds on to the lead in the average. Justin Moss getting set. He lives in Giddings, Texas. Moss right now number 9 in the world.
Well, Justin was 8 and 9 on his first calf. That was only good enough to split 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's how quick these guys have been here at Waco. Good solid run though tonight.
He's a guy that's had a good second half of the season. He was 20th in the world the first part of July, climbing all the way now into the top 10.
Now, unlike Ty Hayes, his calf broke a little bit to the right. So actually that's an advantage because it shortens everything up. He just tracked right up there, made it look easy. Good veteran run.
Well, his 8-5 gives him the lead in the average, as the Cowboy that is currently number 2 in the Crown Royal World Standings gets set to rope. Blair Burke lives up in Durant, Oklahoma.
You know, Blair's a second-generation Cowboy. His dad, Barry, was runner-up for the World Championship 7 times in the PRCA, so he's taught his son well. Now watch this. 1 wrap, gets his hands in the air. Boy, he knows he's got to hurry. That calf's straining. Now the ideal situation is you take 2 wraps and a half hitch. It's a little quicker to take 1 wrap, but it's a little riskier because the calf has to remain tied 6 seconds once you get on your horse, and it didn't happen. So what could have been a winning run for Blair Burke ends up no time. Now watch this as I say the wrap. You string the front leg. Now you have to have at least 1 wrap around all 3 legs. Most guys take 2 with a half hitch. It's a little safer.
He was talking to that calf, but it just didn't do him any good.
Yeah.
Now to Tony Reyna, who's in kind of uncharted territory. This is only the 2nd time that he's had to rodeo in the fall.
A couple years ago, I went in the fall with Joe Beaver, and I kind of learned how to win this time of the year. And, you know, $500 you win right now is like winning 1,000. You know, there's not a lot of big checks left, and just you want to get some money every time you go. And I mean, any kind of money. If it's 4th, 5th, and 6th, you just want to stay consistent, and that's where I think it makes a difference.
18th in the world. This Cowboy is going to find out what the last couple of weeks of the season are all about.
Yes, he is. You know, a year ago, he was 87th in the world. He only won about $12,000. Boy, a lot of things can change in a year. He's won nearly $54,000, and look at this. Boy, he spun a tie on that calf. Now watch when he ropes this calf, the figure 8 of that rope comes around and goes around the calf's tail, so that kind of switched things around. He had to wait for the calf to get up. Once he gets him on his side, though, watch how quick this tie goes on. He just spins him on. Whew.
Well, they needed to be quick. 9 seconds flat to take the lead in the average. 10-2 the time for Tony Reyna. Last Cowboy, and he falls in that sneaky quick category. Here's Ricky Hyde from Conway, Arkansas.
Well, Ricky's made 2 trips to the National Finals Rodeo. He won the first go-around here with a blazing 7.9 seconds. Oh, nice horse right there. You see him stop. Now he's to the calf. He has to hurry now and get it together. He is so good.
Automatic on that tie, and 8-5 is going to give him the win here in Waco.
Watch this sorrel horse. Boy, he just stops like a post. What a nice horse. Boy, Ricky gets to that calf just perfect, has to wait for him to come up off the ground. That's the only thing that probably kept him from being about 7 seconds on this calf. Nice run.
Now, Ricky and his brother Ronnie, both great calf ropers, kind of tall and skinny, and they really are quick once they get to the ground. And Ricky Hyde is the story here in Waco in calf roping. His total time on 3 heads, 26-8. He's going to win a little more than $5,000. Moss was second. Clay Cherney finishes in 3rd place. This night, though, belongs to Ricky Hyde.
Yeah, I came into the short go tonight. I was in the lead by about 4/10, and you know, some of the guys had trouble. I had one of the better calves drawn tonight, and you know, we were real tight coming in tonight from 12th to 1st, and anybody had a chance just who had the best calf and made the best run tonight would win it.
That tie was just fluid. Crown Royal World Standings, boy, it's close between Whitfield and Burke. And Tony Reyna right now safely in the top 15. When we come back, the roping continues. Team roping is next on the agenda. If you're wondering where they found their inspiration for the Brooklyn Bridge, well, it was right here in Waco. That's the model for the famous New York Bridge. And we're ready now for team roping. Hurley and Petska, 10 seconds flat, have the lead in the average for the moment, but we're ready now for the final round. First team in the box, Brady Wren's the header, Nick Sarche's the heeler. Sarche has National Finals rodeo experience.
Well, right now they're 20th and 19th in the world standings. They have a slim shot at things. We'll see if Nick can get it on. Yes, he does. Nice job on the corner.
That's a pretty quick start there in the team roping. 4-5 the time for Wren and Sarche. Next up, former world champion and Steve Purcell on the heading side. Roping right now with Wayne Fulmer.
Well, Steve's been to 6 national finals rodeos. Of course, Fulmer is on his way to his first one. It's got to be very exciting, especially roping behind a former world champion. One hind foot, though, is going to make it a 5-second penalty. 10-6.
So Wren and Sarche hold on to the lead. As Matt Tyler and Steve Northcott get set. Matt Tyler, what a story he is. He's qualified now for 13 consecutive national finals and about to make it number 14.
Yeah, right now he's 11th in the world. Now their steer kind of broke out of there. He didn't break hard, though. Matt Tyler, you know, he's known for riding some of the best heading horses in the world, and I just am so impressed with his horses.
Northcott won the world championship in '96 with Steve Purcell. Their time 4-7 gives them the lead in the average as we move to Doyle and Ernie Bacon.
Well, the Bacon boys need to be 8-2 now to take the lead here. Nice run. They're going to do that very easily, 5-9. I don't think they were intimidated at all by the big names that they've been roping around tonight.
Well, there's still some big names to follow. Starts with Charles Pogue and Britt Buckus. These two cowboys headed to the national finals last year, #1 in the world. They'd wind up #2.
Now they need to be 6-5. Now watch Britt on the heel end, though. He is so quick on the corner. Boy, he makes it look easy as he just slides in there, 5-4, and they were quite a ways down the arena.
Had some time to work with, needed to beat 6-5, so no problem. Pogue and Buckus take the lead. Last team up, Bobby Hurley and Monty Joe Petska. You might remember Bobby Hurley. He won world championships in '93 and '95.
You know, Bobby just stepped on Matt Tyler's heading horse, so Matt's going to get a little piece of the pie if they can win something here, and they do that in a big way. Boy, an important run right here for Hurley and Petska, 5-1. That may head them to the National Finals Rodeo.
Yeah, both cowboys starting the night 15th in the world standings. And this is the time of year where you count every penny, and they're going to have some 3,000 to count. Hurley and Petska with 15-1 get the win, $3,300 the check. This may give them some breathing room, but they have some rodeo season left.
We're going to go to most every rodeo we can get to. I think we've probably got 5 or 6 more rodeos left. Things look a little better right now, you know, after this win for us. And it was a needed win, but we're not going to give up right here and go home. We're going to go ahead and stick it out and finish out the year.
Had a pretty good steer, and we had to borrow horses here and got on good horses, and just God helped us make a good run. We needed to make a pretty good run to help us to our trip to the finals, and it's come together good.
Cowboy to catch in the Crown Royal World standings on the heading side. Daniel Green at 77,000. Bobby Hurley moving up to 14th in the world. On the heeling side, Alan Bach #1, Rich Skelton #2, Britt Buck is currently 3rd. You can see Monty Jopecka, he's really safe. He's 10th in the world now. There's the old courthouse here in Waco. When we come back, barrel racing, don't go away. Well, Waco is probably known best for Baylor University, and the Baylor Bears, nationally known for their high academic standards and their outstanding collegiate athletics. In barrel racing, Kim Green has the lead after 2 rounds, 32-15. 10-time world champion Charmaine James is currently 2nd. We start with the cowgirl that's made 5 trips to the national finals, and right now Angie Metter sits 17th in the world.
Well, she's just about $2,000 out of the top 15, and boy, you talk about a move out of her saddle to keep from knocking that first barrel down. Angie did it. Now she's riding a new horse, and this horse is quite a good one. I think if she gets to the finals, I think she's going to be very competitive down there. Nice run.
16:30 the time for Angie. Next up, Corley Cox. She lives in Cotulla, Texas. Qualified for the national finals back in 1992.
Well, Corley needs to be 16 and 36 100ths. She moves around that second barrel. Nice clean run for Corley Cox. Now if she can get out of there in a hurry.
Well, she's pretty fast. 16:20 is her time. That gives her the lead in the average. And that takes us to Charmaine James. 10 world championships for her, 15 straight trips to the national finals, well over $1 million in career earnings. One of the premier cowgirls in the industry.
You know, she's riding a horse she calls Sloopy, and she picked this horse up like 2 years ago. She rode this horse last year at the national finals, and I'll tell you, this horse had a super week down there. This is a very good indoor horse. 16:22, nice run.
That moves her to the lead in the average. 1 cowgirl remaining, and that's Kim Green, who lives in Big Spring, Texas. Rookie, not in the top 20. She's just trying to make some money.
You know, she's made 2 solid runs here at Waco. She was 16 and 7 100ths. She came back and was 16 and 8 100ths in the second go. So she needs 16 and 27 100ths to win it all if she can get it done. Hustles out of there.
16:26, talk about a photo finish by 1/100th of a second. She moves Charmaine James to the #2 spot. Kim Green makes $2,800. Charmaine James was 2nd. Corley Cox finishes in 3rd place. Big paycheck for Charmaine James, right now 12th in the world. Sherry Servey, #1 in the Crown Royal World standings. Huge lead. And there you see Angie Metters, currently 17th in the world. Well, in this round of the original Coors Sunday Night Rodeo, just bull riding remains. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the original Coors Sunday Night Rodeo. Jeff Metters along with Butch Knowles. A rodeo trend in the 1990s has been the invasion of tough Australian cowboys. The latest addition is Gregory Potter, who happens to be ranked #1 in the bull riding.
Boy, you know, there's a real battle going on in the bull riding between Ben Stanton and Gregory Potter for that #1 position. Now, the guys say Gregory Potter is one of the toughest guys to get on the ground, and I know he's proven that all year long.
Here's a quick glance at the all-around standings. Of course, Ty Murray, the reigning bull riding world champion. #2, Fred Whitfield, though, holding on there at almost $142,000. Judd Paul LaFew, after 2 rounds here in the bull riding, has the lead with 173 points. The cowboy that's #2, Hank Reese, is the cowboy that we start with. He's matched up with Spin Doctor.
Well, Hank is 18th in the world standings right now. He's been in and out of the top 15 all year long, but right now he needs to make things work, starting with Spin Doctor. This big brindle turned back right out of there like he was going to spin to the right and then moved out of it. And you see that Hank got ran off his rope. No score for Hank Rees.
Now, we talked about Butler brother and serving. The bareback riding and the bronc riding were outstanding. He's got some help here in the bull riding from Sammy Andrews, and his bulls are always tough.
Yeah, in fact, Sammy had a few of the horses that were out tonight also. He's got some great rodeo stock himself.
Well, Rees walks away with no score as Michael Daniel gets set. Daniel lives in Lubbock, Texas. The bull is unbelievable.
Well, just a score is all he needs to take the lead, but boy, that's a lot to think about in 8 seconds. Boy, this bull hops and skips, kind of gets him into his hand and then turned back the other way and left him there. No score.
So our first two Cowboys go 0 for 2. Next up, Justin Doherty, 16th in the world. He's just trying to handle the pressure of the bubble.
And right now, I mean, I've just been going to each rodeo, doing it as each rodeo just as I would in a practice pen or anything else. Just try to handle your business at each one and don't worry about it. The judges will do their pencil marking and that'll let them decide who's going.
Oh, this is a great bull from Sammy Andrews, Scat Cat Skull.
Yes, he is a handful, I'll tell you that. You know, I was looking at him before the rodeo. He is not very big, as you can see, and he is hard to track. Around one way, back the other. Great effort for Justin Doherty. Boy, you can just see him just hustling the whole ride. You know, a little bull, for some guys, it's harder to ride him because look how long Justin's legs are. It's hard to get your holts. Every time a bull moves, you got to get a new holt with your feet. Then this bull scoots ahead, then he kicks, then he moves ahead, then he turns back. Tough little bull to ride.
A gritty ride from a Cowboy that's 16th in the world standings, 84 the score for Justin. It's the only qualified ride that we have seen so far. Now to Everett Erickson. He lives out in California. Boom Shakalaka is the bull.
Well, he was 90 points on his second bull. This big Brahma bull turns back though and gets him in there. Well, you see him riding left-handed. This bull turns back to the right. Now watch his free arm, how he drops it right there. And what that does, that moves you to the inside of that spin. You want to be a little late, actually, on a bull that spins away from your hand, making your move across. No score, though.
Costly mistake for Erickson. Now to Josh O'Byrne, lives in New Mexico. We've seen him at the last two national finals.
Well, Josh is on his way to his third NFR. He's 10th in the world standings right now. The bull he has, Storm Tracker. Another Andrews bull, hops, skips, turns back, and down O'Byrne comes. Boy, these bulls of Sammy Andrews, they are so rank. Now watch this, I mentioned hop and skip. This bull isn't kicking with rhythm. He kind of walks on his front feet, kind of wants to work you up over that rope. And then thumps you right there. Oh.
O'Byrne hitting square on his back, loses a little bit of that air. So 4 of the first 5 Cowboys hit the dirt. Still to come though here in Waco, the #1 ranked bull rider in the world. The original Coors Sunday Night Rodeo will continue after this. ESPN's presentation of the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo from Waco, Texas is brought to you by Original Coors, brewed a mile high. By Wrangler, the only jeans and shirts endorsed by the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. By Dodge, do not follow, do not conform, be different. And by Justin Boots, standard of the West since 1879. Gregory Potter has exceeded his expectations this year by being #1.
It looks good. Like, I didn't think I'd expect to lead the world as long as I had. I just come over here hoping to do good, to qualify for the NFR. It didn't matter if I went there first or in 15th, I just wanted to be there. I've had a real good year this year. Everything's worked out so far and I've led it all the way, so I hope I can finish it off and go right through.
81 points.
Needs 81 to catch Justin Doherty, who already has an 84 in this final round.
Well, Jeff, Gregory claims Weatherford, Texas is home, but my guess is he's from Australia. Any way you look at it, he actually was the Australian bull riding champion in 1996. He has had a phenomenal year, but as you can see, he's human. As this bull moves around there, looked as though he was tapped off with him in good shape, turning back into his hand, but right there you see his hips get out there and the bull felt him there and jumped out of it. Boy, these bulls are smart. And once they know how to buck you off, they'll do it time again.
So Potter now joins 5 other Cowboys who have wound up with no scores in this round, just 1 qualified ride. As Garth Oldfield gets set, as you can see Copenhagen Warrior there.
Well, this bull resembles Scat Cat Skull, except he's about 800 pounds bigger. This is a big honky bull. Oh, drops him into the inside of that spin.
Oldfield, who's Canadian, 21 years old. This is his rookie campaign. He walks away with no score. Bull riders having a time of it here with 1 qualified ride so far. Next up, Judd Paul LeFew. He is the son of Gary LeFew, who won the Bull Riding World Championship back in 1970.
He's got a great bull. This bull's called Copenhagen Urkel from Sammy Andrews. They have won a lot of money on this bull when they can ride him. Oh, and LeFew started a super ride, and the bull jumped out of it, turned back the other way. So I think just less than a half a second separated him from a huge score. He had an 8-point lead coming into the finals, and look at here. Boy, Urkel turns back. Judd, he just starts moving. He's right over there in good shape, a little off his rope, but if the bull stays going one way, he's okay. But when he jumped out of it and turned back the other, that dropped him into that spin.
So LeFew winds up with no score, and we're down to our final bull rider. You have to thank the Waco Rodeo Committee here. They've done an outstanding job. The hospitality has been outstanding, and Rob Bell is going to put the finishing touches on this rodeo, matched up with Copenhagen Zandy.
Well, this is a ranked little brindle bull right here. Rob, 17th in the world. He's about $3,000 out of the top 15. He has to get to the whistle if he expects to have a chance. Boy, and he does. What an effort by Rob Bell. Man, oh man, how wild does it get?
Bull ride was great. The get off a little bit tough, but Rob Bell's going to walk away from it. Let's take one more look.
Boy, this bull just tries so hard. Look at him turning back, blowing into that spin. Bell just keeps hustling, getting back up on his rope right when he needs to. Just a phenomenal ride. The get off was even more amazing. As you see him, when the whistle blows, he kind of relaxes. And when he does that, it just whips him right down, right here. Oh, that is wild. Boy, he whacks heads with this bull right here, too. You saw him right when he jumped up on the chute, he kind of grabbed his chin. He took a shot before he ever got off.
Justin Sports Medicine team goes to work. That last replay just bringing it right into your living room. The good news for Bell, 92 points. He's going to win the rodeo on a little more than $4,600. Doherty finished in 2nd place. LeFew was 3rd. Bell has a not so favorable history with Copenhagen Zandy.
Well, I had a really good bull that I've had once before. I had him at the short round at Houston, and he threw me off pretty quick. So I was really wanting to get on him again, and things worked out pretty good.
Crown Royal World Standings, as we mentioned, Gregory Potter, #1 in the world. Rob Bell just inside that top 15. He's currently 14th. On our original Coors Thrills and Spills, we just go right back to Rob Bell. Copenhagen Zandy, a 92-point ride.
Well, Jeff, we talk about not really wanting to be on the Thrills and Spills part of this show, but for Rob Bell's sake, he gets all the money in spite of getting a wild get-off and a crazy wreck right here. Man.
He combined them both, a thrill and a spill. Once again, our next stop on the Wrangler World of Rodeo, Sunday, November 14th, the final rodeo of the regular season, the Grand National from San Francisco. For Butch Knowles, I'm Jeff Metters. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in San Francisco. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.